I have always had an obsession with farming games. From Stardew Valley to Super Poképets Ranch, I love them all. Throughout my game dev journey, I've tried really hard to make farming games in the past, and they've always just kind of ended up being meh. So today we're going to take a look at a brand new farming game that I'm working on, and we're also going to be adding fusion into my farming game. Always gotta have a tea break. Before I get into this video, I just want to say that this is really early in development. It's only been in development for a few days. And also, no, I'm not quitting Luna Lane to only work on this. This is a side project, and I'll be probably working on both of them at the same time. I started by creating the very basics of the game. I made a tile set and a player controller, as well as a little jelly that can follow you around. One of the main mechanics in this game is being able to pick up jellies and throw them. Of course, the next step was to make the game more presentable so I can show it to people on Discord. After that, I worked on the more boring stuff like inventory and also save data. At this point, there was a day and night cycle as well as an inventory and being able to pick up crops. So this is the basic gameplay that I've come up with so far. On the top left hand corner of the screen, you have the current time of the day. On the top right hand corner of the screen, you have the amount of money that you currently have. On the bottom of the screen, you can see that there's an inventory, and it also tells you what item you're holding. If you have items like seeds, for example, you can actually choose to plant them and they will grow throughout the day. They all have their own specific growing times as well as growth stages. And you can see here that I have my partner jelly. I'll show you what the partner jelly does in a second. Right here, this little turnip actually is the bed. I didn't have a sprite drawn for the bed, so I just made it this little turnip, and that's actually where you can choose to sleep at night. So the basic gameplay of this game consists of you farming and collecting crops. Once you collect your crops, you can feed them to your jellies, and you can go out and adventure and find more jellies and add them to your farm. So here we have all of my jellies that I have. I kind of cheated and just gave myself a bunch of them. So now that it's become nighttime, I can choose to sleep over here on my bed. And now I've slept and it is morning time, and you can see that my crop actually has grown. But this crop takes a while to grow, so it's only grown one stage, so it's not fully ready yet. When you feed your jellies, the next day they will produce this thing. It is called an orb, and when you pick up the orb, it'll give you some money. So you can see there up on the top, I now have 10 coins. Your jellies also have a certain amount of happiness, and the more you feed them, the more happy they get, and the more happy they get, the more orbs they drop. So it's really important to remember to feed your jellies every day. That carrot was fully grown, so I'm going to pick it up, and now I'm able to go over here and feed one of my hungry jellies. So there's the basic farming gameplay, but there is also gameplay of adventuring and also a mechanic for your partner jelly here. In order to find more jellies and find more crops, you're going to have to explore. So you'll be able to explore a whole entire world outside of your house and be able to discover wild jellies such as this one. If your farm has enough room and you find a normal jelly like this one out in the wild, you'll be able to pick it up, take it back home, and tame it. The way that you'll collect new seeds and items is you'll be able to find them throughout the map, but they'll also drop as loot from other jellies. The way you get loot from other jellies is my very strange and unique combat system that consists of you picking up your partner jelly and throwing it at other jellies. So you can see there that it did 3 damage. And if I throw it there, you can see I did 3 more, I defeated it, and I got some turnip seeds. So your daily routine will consist of going out, defeating new jellies, finding new crops, and then growing your crops and feeding them back to your jellies in order to get more money to upgrade your farm and just have fun. Of course, this is a farming sandbox game, so you don't have to do any of that. You can choose to do whatever you want. If you want to pick up your jelly and just throw it around all day long, you can do that, whatever you feel like. You can even take one of your jellies from your farm and just throw it up on this cliff and then just let it stay up there forever. This game has a really big focus on bonding with your jellies, and I wanted there to be able to way for you to upgrade your jellies. I also wanted a way for you to be able to change the appearance of your jellies or get new and cooler ones. But I know some of you will get a jelly and you'll name it and you'll get attached to it and you won't want to get rid of it. So instead I decided that we should make a fusion mechanic where you can take an already existing jelly that you own and fuse it with an item that you find out in the wild, and it'll create a new jelly. The jelly that it creates will have the same name, the same stats, and everything the same as your older jelly, but it'll have a new appearance, and it might even do things like drop orbs that will give you more money. The only way this system is going to be made is if we just make it. I started by creating a brand new leaf object and added it to my inventory list. Once I created the leaf, I put it in the game, ran the game, and it's broken. And it's broken twice, and it's broken a third time. After a little bit of messing around, I finally got it working. Kind of. After that, I made a game object that'll serve as a place that will put things down in order to fuse them. I chose one of the default sprites and just stretched it out. I added collisions and made a new script that we'll be able to use to place items on top of it. I opened Visual Studio and did some work on the script. Now it knows whether or not you've walked over it, and it also knows if it's currently holding an item. Next, it was back to scripting to show what item it's holding. I hop back into Unity, set the sprite, and I forgot that I stretched it. So I made the placeholder sprite tiled instead of stretched, and it looks better now. Next was the moment of truth, and it broke. I messed around with my scripts for about an hour, and now I can finally place and remove items with a few bugs. Next, I created a brand new jelly that will be our first fusion. It is called the leaflet, and the fusion is a normal jelly and a leaf. I added the little guy into the game and it works perfectly. Next, I added a second spot to place things. One will be able to place items and one will be able to place jellies. I wanted a really easy way for me to make fusions, so I decided to make a scriptable object where essentially all I have to do in the game is put the item that you need to fuse to make the jelly, and then put the jelly that the fusion will create. After that, I got back to coding the ability for you to place jellies. Now all I need to do is just walk up to this area, put down the jelly. Oh no. So I sorted a few bugs, and now I can successfully put down the jelly. The last thing that I needed to do was to code the fusion actually happening. Now I can approach the fusion machine, put my jelly on the left, put an item on the right, and boom, we have a brand new fused jelly. When you fuse your partner jelly, not only does it change its appearance, but it also changes its attack value. For example, the normal jelly does 3 attack damage, but this new leaflet that I created does 5 damage. So it's important to always fuse your partner as well. I'll take the last little bits of this video to talk about the future plans for this game and the scale of it. So I want this game to be pretty cheap, probably like $5, and I want to do a few updates after launch, but the game is going to be pretty small at launch. These updates will add cool mechanics like bug catching and fishing, as well as new areas and new jellies. You'll be able to experience summer, spring, fall, and winter, as well as different weather types like rainy, snowy, and stormy. Season and weather will also affect the different types of crops that you can find. For example, you might be able to find a pumpkin in the fall, but not in the spring. There will also be things like your crops will be able to grow faster in the rain, but they'll also grow slower in the snow. That is really hard to say. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this game, and that's just going to wrap up this first devlog for my new farming game. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give the video a like. It really helps me out. Also, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, why don't you subscribe? It'll let you see more videos of mine, and that will benefit me, and it'll also be really awesome, and I get to meet you, and maybe you can comment, and then we can talk to each other or something. It'll be really cool. You guys will have to let me know how you feel about the game in the comments, if you're excited for it, if you think I should just stick to Luna Lane. I'm personally really excited for it, and I'm having such a fun time making it, so I'm curious to see what you guys think about it as well. But that's going to be all for this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next devlog.